In June of 2006, I was in Israel at a summer study sabbatical for ministers. The program was at a beautiful place called Tantur, an ecumenical center attached to the University of Notre Dame. Tantur is just south of the old city of Jerusalem, close to the Bethlehem checkpoint. We were a few Catholics, but mostly Protestants of differing denominations. Notre Dame's policy was that there would be no Eucharist there because we could not, in their view, share in the breaking of the bread. So on Pentecost, a group of Christians, just getting to know each other, all trooped into Jerusalem and wondered together as we went to our separate liturgies that we're in Jerusalem on Pentecost. Another group of people was also streaming to Jerusalem that Pentecost, because that year Easter and Passover had come close together, as they often do, and so the Christian and Jewish holidays, both called Pentecost, came on the very same day. As we marveled at being in Jerusalem on Pentecost, we walked along with crowds of Orthodox Jewish residents of Jerusalem, mostly young families with lots of children, heading to the western wall of the temple to pray on their Pentecost. The Jewish holiday of Shavuot, or Pentecost, was originally one of the three great pilgrimage festivals, Sukkot, Passover, and Shavuot, when Jews of Jesus' time went up to the temple to give thanks for the harvest. After the destruction of the temple in 70 of the Common Era, it began to change its focus. It became, and is now, a commemoration of the giving of the Torah, the Pentateuch, to Moses on Mount Sinai. So on the day of Pentecost, 50 days after that terrible Passover, the disciples are together again in Jerusalem, as we were 2 millennia later, as it fills with Jews coming for the festival pilgrimage. And on this day, the Spirit is given to them. Luke gives us a delightful, perhaps idealized look at what the life of the community of believers was like initially, even as he tells us that many were baptized. We know it didn't last, that there were disputes among them, that they faced opposition from other Israelites and from powerful people in the city. Much of that hostile energy would focus on Stephen. Today's passage only gives us a bit of Stephen's discourse before the people, the elders, and the scribes. But it is enough for us to see why he outraged them, attributing to them the death of the prophet Jesus, as they had murdered all the prophets who had gone before him. As he is attacked and died, Luke has Stephen's words and actions conform to the very words of Jesus, that he receive his Spirit and forgive those who murder him. Stephen's act has been repeated countless times in our history by martyrs who also publicly proclaim their faith in the Lord and ask forgiveness for those who are persecuting them. What does it mean for us today who are not asked to do literally what Stephen did? Perhaps it is not in the dying, but rather in the proclamation of our faith in all the small and large ways in our daily lives that we are called to imitate Stephen. How are we called to profess our faith in this season of war and in this country where rights are being taken away rather than expanded? Perhaps our martyrdom is not in death, but rather in living lives of generosity, of altruistic forgiveness, of the kind of love that Jesus showed us is the very nature of God. The rabbis ask, why is Shavuot called the giving of the Torah instead of our receiving the Torah? Because, they say, the Torah was given on a specific date, but we are to receive it everywhere and at all times. And so it is with the Holy Spirit. We are to receive it everywhere and at all times.